And you can bet the action is only going to get more intense.
Oh yeah, that's true.
1,200 to call.
Wow, that's pretty
Fold.
good.
Nearly $1.9 million on this table.
Well, I just thought it was good for you anyways, because
10,000, and I'll never wear sunglasses ever again, as long as you ever see me in a poker table.
No, period.
Period. Ever.
Raising to 4,000.
You can never wear sunglasses.
Well, I mean, if I go out to the pool or the lake, I have to wear them.
No.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Be blinded?
Wear a hat.
You will never see me indoors
Fold.
in any place for 10,000 with sunglasses ever again. Even if I was in a pool area and I walked indoors, I have to. If I took an extra second and didn't take them off, I would lose the bet.
Of course, Phil Ivey, a $200,000 swing. How does he react to that?
I'll do that for 10,000.
How does he come back?
Well, he seemed to get a little bit lively in season 2 of this cash game when he got a bit behind.
Called.
He's now 100,000 behind. We might see him opening up his game a little. It's Patrick Antonius and Tom Dwan seeing the flop. King, Queen, Deuce.
Nothing there for either player.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to stop Tom de Dwan.
But since it bothers them so much, I'm not getting paid.
And of course, anybody that remembers season 2 when Phil Ivey was down over 300,000 at one point.
Yeah, still managed to end up winning.
7-3, 7,300. Total bet to call.
Phil will take 100. Yeah, the rest of the time. I think the Oakley paying.
Nobody paid.
How much Oakley paid?
You don't get paid. He had another company.
And every time Tom
They
Dwan
kind of ratted out. They screwed
stares
up.
down his opponent, he almost looks
Nobody
scared.
paid anyway. The only place
Well,
I
so
was
far
someplace
today, I
to
think he
start
hasn't
with
had a genuine hand, so he probably has been scared every single
It's
one.
pretty scary how they never did anything, and that's why I think that sunglasses shouldn't be allowed in poker. I think we allowed it for a while because everybody thought we were going to make money. And I'm with Daniel. No sunglasses, no headsets.
Of course, Patrick
and nothing
Antonius
that
was a
covers your
model
face. Let's play
before he
red
became a professional poker player.
Raising to 26,000.
And he senses the weakness. We haven't seen a move from him all day, but he senses the weakness and he makes the move.
Every single tournament.
Great
And
play
nobody
from
tell
Antonius.
who I am, boy. What edge that got to be? I don't have to worry about, oh, there's Mike, I want to beat him. There's an old man, he can't play.
And what did Antonius see
That's a big edge.
in Dur to
I
make
told
that
him
move?
he was wrong.
Well, I think he's seen an awful lot of hands that Tom Dwan's been
After 3
betting
hours, he should've
when he hasn't got the goods. It's the kind of board whereby there aren't that many hands that Tom Dwan's going to have, maybe, that he's going to be comfortable with calling a really re-raise there. So he's decided to try and take it off him, and it's worked.
We're watching. We're at the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. Button in front of big winner here. One of the big winners, that is Chris Jesus Ferguson. He's up over $200,000.
Fold. Fold.
How much what are you in, 200, Tom?
Action over to
You really must have got the
Tom Dwan, our biggest loser at the moment.
2,200. Fold.
Phil Hellmuth not going to play. We haven't seen much from Phil Hellmuth. He's down nearly $50,000.
Fold.
It's not about the money, Phil.
Finally, he gets a genuine hand here, Dirt.
Everybody said you were playing.
That's just absolutely typical. When it's not running for you, you finally get the big hand. You've been racing all day, and he doesn't get a single player calling.
And you can see he looks up to the skies, wondering, can I get a break?
Go run back. It's all about keeping
David Benjamin next to, of course, the young superstar, Tom Dwan, better known as Dur.
Yeah, he's an online professional for the most part, starting to make a splash in the tournament scene as well.
But you know what the sick part is? After I made the bet,
Nearly
I
$1
wanted to get
million
out my bet
in tournament winnings. Remember, he's only 22 years old, and of course, he's sitting next to the legend, Phil
I knew I
Helmuth.
was wrong.
11
Standing next to him as it happens, yeah.
I rushed to a judgment.
11 World Series bracelets, Phil. And about $11 million worth of tournament winnings as well. That's not a bad
Raise.
double 11, is it?
1,800 total bet. Called.
And of course, Ivy with the Ducks.
He's called the 1800 raise of Phil Hellmuth.
Fold. Fold. Fold.
I miss playing with all you guys. I remember all the days where I just played with you guys every day and busted you guys every day. Those were the fun days. Y'all got rich.
Four.
I blew all my money in sports.
Total bet. Total bet is 18.
Raise it, Tom.
Oh, there's no action in this game. Phil raised under the gun and 7
No,
people
no, he
called him.
limped under the gun. I raised. I thought it was going to be him and I.
Oh, yeah. The only people that folded were the 2 tightest players in the game.
Give him the cards back.
If we were playing the 7 deuce game, I'd still be in probably.
6 players in this pot.
Check.
You'd think we were playing 2-4, but it was $1,800 for each of them pre-flop. The pot is nearly $12,000.
Betting 2,000.
And on a pot
2,000 to
flop
call.
of 8-8 ace, it's 6 players in and not one of them's caught an ace or an 8.
Now, Tom Dwan is still in the lead with his pocket 4s. He has 2 pair. Ivy also has 2 pair.
It's a really small bet though, that 2,000 to Phil Ivy.
Fold.
But so far it looks like he might get around. Just the man who's actually in front right now, Tom Dwan, with his 2 4s.
I'm here to have fun with football.
Fold.
Well, the small bet. Everybody got scared of
Show a bluff. Ace what?
Ace king I had.
You just fired the no pair, no draw on the 6 people like it was nothing. Like nobody could have a hand.
I figured if I bet 2,000, I won 12. It would be a pretty good bet.
Pretty good. I don't think like 1 out of 6 times like 6 people won't have hit an ace or an
I was
ace.
shocked. I mean, I thought somebody was going to call. It was a lucky bet, Mike.
Blinds, of course, 300, 600. We've seen a lot of straddles, which are 1,200,
Fold.
and a lot of action.
Fold.
You are a lucky, lucky, lucky guy. All right, 2 dimes.
And
Raising
Mike
2,000
the Mouth
total
Madisau
bet.
on the button with ace 10 of hearts is going to raise it up.
Oh, they always re-raise me. Why do they do that?
Raising.
A re-raise from Tom Dwan.
6,700.
Before he raised him, he said, why they always re-raise? Before he even reached his G.
I mean, it just doesn't feel fair to me.
Now,
6,700.
Durr obviously not respecting Madisau's button raise, but Madisau's actually got a pretty good hand.
Still not a big hand. He's not going to want to commit too many chips with that, not unless he catches a big flop. And let's see what the dealer can bring them. Well, it's a bit for both of them. Up and down straight for Mike Madisau and top pair for Tom Dwan.
See, Tom Dwan is about a 3-2 favorite over Madisau.
Yeah, about a 6-4.
Check.
David, you want to go to your home and play after?
Check.
Goes check, check.
Huh?
The 9, that's a good card for Tom Dwan.
I already plugged my computer in when I come, because I'm
That check showing he can mix up his game, doesn't have to keep firing.
jet lagged completely.
I think we're going to see him fire now.
I didn't sleep for 3 days.
2 clubs out there, straight draw out there. Doesn't want to give up any more free cards.
Oh, from here it's only, but I didn't sleep over there.
Mike the Mouth finally quiet.
All night. Last night I was
He's probably quiet now because it's the first time he's actually been in a decent pot.
10,800 is the bet.
Bet of 8,800 and called from Mike Madisau.
Change.
The pot has ballooned up to $36,000. Madisau's going to need a queen.
Not a 6 is what he needed.
I was going to say a queen, a 7, or an ace would have gotten it done. And if you're in Dwan's position, do you check here to induce the bluff?
Well, he's got to try and decide what he thinks Mike Madisau's got. I think it's probably best for him to bet this one. Hope that his reputation of a bluffer and a stealer is going to get him paid from an 8 or a pocket pair of some kind.
Even maybe ace-king.
Maybe even ace-king, exactly. As it happens, I think it's just going to win in the pot.
Bet.
How much?
27,700 is the bet.
$63,000 pot, 27,000 to call. Remember, both these players check the flop. Very easy here for Dwan to have nothing at all.
$27 what?
700.
And is Matisow seriously contemplating calling this $27,000 bet with just ace high?
I don't think this is just for the cameras. I think he's pretty seriously considering making this call. He just...
He's definitely familiar with the way Dur plays.
Exactly, so he just can't think of a hand that he's going to check the flop and then have to keep betting. Apart from the bluff. That's what's going through his head.
Well, obviously we can see the cards, but Dur could easily have 5-3 suited in this case.
Exactly, and he's got plenty of previous history for doing that kind of thing.
It's a great value bet from Tom Dwan.
Yeah, exactly. I think the reason he might get this call is the fact that he checked it on the flop. I think that could be it.
And for a player that primarily plays on the internet, he's giving nothing away. And he's going to call
made the
this.
call. I think the check on the flop was brilliant by Tom Dwan.
It's good.
Jackson 9.
Oh, and Matisow.
I think Mike's going to be pretty upset with himself at that one. I don't think it's the worst call Mike's ever made. I think he's thought it through. He thinks that Tom hasn't got a hand he can check on the end. He's going to have to try and bluff it.
What's that? An outdated
They
band
just
that
keep coming up
nobody
with
likes
hits
anymore?
every single year, baby.
What's
Year
that?
after year, decade after decade. I'm there in poker, you two's there in music. You understand?
4,000. Bet.
You got it? I play this game in the 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010s.
Tom Dwan maybe starting to feel a little bit more confident.
It's going to be right-handed anyway. But we'll check it. What's well, because I think you just play with it.
Was
right.
down nearly $170,000 at one point. Now he's only down $97,000, and he's got pocket sevens.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to forget, obviously.
Cool.
Well, that's 4 players to this. The 2 Phils. Phil Helmuth, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan, better known as Dur, and
Pot.
Eli Lesra.
Pot over 16,000.
2 spades on this board. That's good for Ellie. He's sitting there with 8-10 of spades.
Only one overcard to Dur's sevens.
And he's going to find out if he's in front or not by putting a little bet out there.
And by winning a couple of pots, what will that do for his game?
Well,
Bet.
he's obviously going to be a little bit more confident, but that might be about to take a
10,000.
a bit of a dent.
200.
I'm willing to bet that Ellie at least is going to call this, but I'd probably expect him to re-raise. Just because he raised before the flop, he can represent the king and a lot more strength than he actually has.
Oh, we quite haven't gotten to Ellie yet. We're still on Phil Ivey. Phil Ivey not throwing away his pair of deuces just that quickly.
He says fold.
Well, he does fold now. Action over to Alesra. And Alesra's actually a favorite to win the hand here, because an 8 or a 10 would do it as well.
I'd say he's definitely a favourite to win the hand. He's got a couple of ways he could do this. A nice re-raise would be enough.
Cool.
He hasn't though. Looks like it's a flat call. He's got a few cards he can catch. 8s, 10s, and spades.
Pot is now nearly $40,000. Well, there's one of his cards.
And that pretty well leaves Tom Dwan in all sorts of trouble. From it almost being a 50-50 shot, he's now only got 5% chance of winning.
Check.
And if you're a Lesra here, do you take the free card? Obviously, we know that Dur is capable of a big check raise on the turn.
I think I'll take a free card here. You're not afraid to give a free card. You're the one that's actually kind of on the draw. If you're up against a king, you're happy to take it. And if you're up against a 5, you want to make it look like you haven't got that much. So,
And
yeah,
check.
he checks it as well. That 3 looks like a half-decent card for Tom Dwan. He's probably putting Ellie on maybe 10s or jacks at this point. Probably not a spade draw. I don't think he thinks he can get rid of his man.
7.
And Lesra is going to just take this down with the pair of 8s.
Pair of 8s.
Did he miss a value bet there on the river?
Well, once it's been checked again on the river, there really is probably an opportunity for him to maybe squeeze a little bit out of Tom. But the truth is, what does he think he can beat that he'll get a caller from?
Like a machine.
Just happens that he's got 7s in this pot.
I gotta keep track of my figures.
And of course,
Raise.
action on Tom Dwan. He's going to raise it up.
3,200 total bet. To call. Fold.
David Benyon trying to see a flop cheat.
Called.
That ain't going to happen while it's Tom Dwan's button. Raising up with ace deuce, and Phil Ivey calling in the big blind.
3,200
Right now, your new nickname
called.
3,200 the bet, and 3,200 called in 2 spots.
See, there's 3 ways.
It's just like playing online for these 3. They play an awful lot.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be the one that filled out.
Check. Check.
Everybody with a whole bunch of nothing. Benjamin with the gut shot straight draw. Dwan.
And if he catches it, it'd probably be very good because he could catch Tom Dwan at the same time. He'd make a smaller straight.
Bet.
Mike, I know my initials are ATM.
8,600.
RA
Fold.
is her new nickname. Relentless and
And a big bet.
ATM,
Phil Ivey's gone.
8,600 total bet.
OV, OR,
Call.
Sicko,
Pot is nearly $28,000.
sickest, sicko, sorry.
And a 5 certainly would be the magic card.
17. Yeah. 17 change.
Here comes the turn.
Oh, and there it is, the 5 of hearts. It's an unbelievable card there. Tom Dwan makes the wheel, ace to 5 straight. But David Benjamin with the absolute nuts right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 high straight. And you can see he cannot lose this pot. And it's just a matter of how can he maximize the value of this hand.
The speed that Tom Dwan's been playing, I can't see this pot going anything other than all in. Whether it happens now or on the river.
Well, Tom Dwan, an absolutely fantastic internet player, knows how to get away from second best hands. Can he do it here?
I very much doubt it.
Ever the skeptic.
21 free.
Betting 21,300.
And he bets 21,300. The pot is now $49,200. Action back to Benjamin.
I think the faster that David Benjamin plays this pot, the more money he's going to get.
Benjamin has over $400,000 behind. Dwan with nearly $200,000 behind. And this has the makings of an absolute monster. $50,000 pot, 23,000 to call. But between you and I don't think Benjamin's just going to call this one. Can Durr get away from this hand?
I really don't think so.
Very hard to put your opponent on 6-7.
63 total bet.
And he makes it 63,000 total.
bet.
40,000 more. And this pot had up to $112,000. Action back to Durr. It's almost impossible to put Benjamin on the 6-7, the gut shot. Remember, there was a bet on the flop and Benjamin called. Absolute stone face from Benjamin. Action on. Tom Dwan.
The black one's in his hand worth $25,000 each.
That's all right. I mean, that's what you expect. If you let that get to you, you're making mistakes.
Absolutely insane amount of money here at this table.
Right. When you're like me and just steaming and upset.
And what is the internet phenom going to do here? It's $40,000 back to him. As you've already said, it's almost impossible to see him getting away from this one. Remember, Benjamin has shown bluffs all day long. No reason to think he's not bluffing right here.
I'm all in.
And he's all in!
Cool.
Tom Dwan is all in. David Benjamin quickly is going to call this, and Tom Dwan is drawing dead.
You have 6-7? Nice hand.
There really is not a lot that poor Tom Dwan could have done there, and he looks absolutely sick.
Completely inconsequential river. Dwan was drawing dead. And look at those chips getting shifted over to the Frenchman.
What if Can you get 150? 150?
150.
Yeah.
Like 150 right there.
Nice hand.
Be like a friend like you were to me, you know, like
Don't
70
ever be
points
that-
loser,
Don't
win it
ever
all
be that
back,
kind of
and
friend
then
to me, Mike. I don't need
Cold?
friends like that.
12 straddle.
let's ask anybody here what cold is. Here, I'm gonna ask everybody here if this isn't cold. You think I'm cold? Okay, we're playing Chinese for like 10 hours. I'm up 70 points. He wins 90 points straight in like 40 minutes. And says, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna play 3 more hands. Let's play for double. We play 3 more hands for double. He hits
55.
royalty, royalty, royalty. And now I'm 44 points loser.
Get a
Let's say,
raise here
Phil,
from Helmut.
Let's play 2 more hands. Okay, but not for double. And he says, I'm cold?
Pass.
That's a hell of a story, right?
No, but I mean, don't that he says I'm cold? You don't think that's out of line?
And Helmut takes it down pre-flop.
That's about as cold as you can be.
Mike, you and I have a difference of opinion. See, when I play Roland on the internet, we quit any time. That's the way I like to play.
You could play quit every time, but you can't play 3 hands for double and then say, and I say, let's play 2 more. And then okay, and then say, but not for double. That's like so nitty, it's a
Have you
joke.
played? It's fun. I played Barry, I played Ellie, I played a lot of people online. How much in my head? Maybe 100. not that much.
Phil, he makes
No,
a
maybe
royalty every
100.
other hand. I mean, you have to hear the buzzer too. Bon, bring, bring.
How much time do you have to set it?
Bring. You got like a minute.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You
And of
probably
course,
play so
Mike the
often,
Mouth
it only
there.
takes 20 seconds to set a hand.
Self-proclaimed
There's a
the
button you can
best
push
no-limit
set up
cash game player at this table, but he's not proving it so far, is he?
Even a guy like
No,
Mike
he's not
plays
exactly going
the
it all his own way.
stuff, but online he presses
Made
the
a
button.
dubious call earlier on,
Online you're a genius, Mike.
and that's pretty well what's cost him his chips right now. He's down to 41,000.
I can beat you for more like 70 or 80 points a session.
Tom Dwan's got a big hand here again, pocket nines.
Pass.
Oh, you got him a Chinese game tonight.
You don't have anything to say? Cat got your tongue?
You got 500 a point Chinese tonight. You got me.
Cat got your tongue? I don't even
Just
want to
Ellie
talk to you,
Lesra
Patrick. Whenever I
You
play
never.
you,
I mean,
And David Benjamin. Ellie Lesra's gone, so it's just these two faces again.
Well, you know Benjamin was going to call. This is his favorite player, and it's a very, very interesting flop.
maybe not against you.
Benjamin with the best hand here and the gut shot. Dwan with the gut shot
Last time he beat me for 100 and
as well. Benjamin way ahead though.
Yeah, it's a very good flop for David Benjamin's hand.
Is he winning? David, are you winning or losing?
But I've only watched like 6 hands.
5,200.
250 in the game. What do you think? What are you in?
But you know that's all marketing.
5,200 the bet.
He's in at least 200 extra that he started with.
A call from David Benjamin. Here's the turn.
King.
King, that does not help Tom Dwan.
Well, it might help Tom Dwan get away from the hand. Benjamin now open-ended,
Or you have an option to put ace, queen, eight,
as well as a pair of tens.
eights, and ace to five straight.
It's gone check, check, and now it's a straight on the river for David Benjamin.
And it's just getting uglier and uglier for Dwan.
Now the question is, does David Benjamin check it?
Kings, aces,
Hope he gets
eights up,
Tom Dwan representing an ace.
kings up and ace high.
Then he has this hand, right? He has.
I mean, is there a chance that Benjamin thinks that Dwan's hit the river, get called by an
And then
ace?
he has.
Exactly, that's the other play. If you think he's got an ace, you can bet it into him and hope to get a caller, because there's always a chance if he has got the ace, he might check it.
9 high Broadway, aces in the middle, and 4s up top. 9 high straight, aces in the middle, 4s up top.
I like 9 hand straight ace and 4s.
Thank you. I told him that too. He thought I was nuts.
12,005.
And Benjamin puts a bet in there. Of course, Dwan, it's an easy laydown.
It's not a big deal.
And not only is Benjamin killing the table, he's up over $100,000. He's got Mike the Mouth in his right ear the entire night.
We have a bet with Patrick every 10 minutes to see how many sessions of 10 seconds he'll be quiet. You know how much I'm losing so far?
2,000.
Me? You never, there's no 10 seconds you were quiet.
Well,
Yeah.
I was told to come in and liven up the game that you guys are a bunch of wet noodles. So I just did what I was told. I mean, Chris has said 3
And Ellie
words.
Lesra, who's happy to gamble and play. He calls.
3 words. You have 6-7, nice hand. He ain't said another word.
Madison passes.
I'm just here for your entertainment value.
And Lesra and Ivy are both pretty deep. Lesra with $363,000 in front of him. Oh, and we could have fireworks here. Lesra a top pair,
Believe me, he loves playing with
Ivy
you,
with a
Phil. We
set
all
of
do.
jacks.
5,000.
I'm going to enjoy it more when I get a little revenge, Mr. Ivy.
You know what, Phil?
I can imagine this going check, bet, call, check, bet, call, check, bet, call.
Let me tell you how much they
Unless
were
a 9
fascinated
comes
at
off,
how
and
much
look at
stuff
that.
up here.
That's
They
trouble.
said
Yeah, that could be trouble. That's 2 pair for Ellie Lesra.
And we saw Ellie
Ellie
Lesra has no problem committing all his chips with 2 pair. Phil Ivy is a master at building a pot.
I'm willing to take side bets. Yeah, but tomorrow or...
Why would I even? I haven't talked to Annette since I
I know, but
There's
isn't this game already set up
$15,000 in the
through-
pot.
through,
The chance of this
from-
going
isn't it happening
well
tomorrow
over
next week?
100,000. And Mike's just talking in the background.
I know that. I heard this from a higher up that this was already set up. I said, and I'm willing to take side bets for any of you guys that want to bet on against Phil.
First of all, it's not set up.
It's not set up.
13,000.
We've got a $13,000 bet from Phil Ivy.
Wow, I'd like to ask the person that told me this.
And one
but
thing
found
we've
this
seen in the
information.
first 2 seasons of the $1 Million Cash
like
Game
some
is
random
when he
person
flops a
gave us
big hand, he builds a
One
pot.
time heads up.
And that's what he's doing here.
It was like
I heard
kings
you're playing a
against queens.
I heard you're playing a cash game tomorrow.
It was kings against queens.
Like 100 buying each or something.
And then the very next hand, and a few hands later, I had ace queen, she had ace king for my last few. And then she wrote that she beat me playing.
And Alezra raises 25,000 more.
It's nothing to do with that. I just want to.
one match
Oh, and
I'm
things have been going Alezra's way until now. He's not drawing dead. He can still catch a king to win this pot.
Wow, Mike.
I'm just wondering if it's possible for him to get away from it if Phil decides to re-raise again. If Phil raises 40, 50,000, I don't think Ellie's going anywhere. Not famous for his tough laydowns, Ellie.
Ivy started this hand with $181,000, and I'm pretty sure this is all going to go in. Ivy's one to build pots.
Well, he's only flat called. Maybe he's afraid of the straight.
Obviously, the Queen 10 open-ended straight draw would have gotten there. Only we know that Ivy is ahead. Pot is $91,000. And this is an interesting question. When Alezra bets this pot, can Ivy raise it?
Well, he does. He does make some very good value plays, Phil Ivy.
And the pot is $45,000. The bet is $45,000. The pot is $136,000. $45,000 to Phil Ivy. Another monster pot.
Well, he's not thinking about passing. I'm pretty sure about that, Phil. He's trying to decide whether it's worth doing a value raise.
Yeah, he's definitely going to at least call this. And the table has finally noticed the big pot, and they've quieted down.
And by the table, you mean Mike.
$136,000 pot, $45,000 bet to Phil Ivy. Now, if Ivy raises this, can Alezra get away from two pair?
In truth, if Phil does raise this, there isn't really a lot that Ellie could beat.
Nothing at all. But as we've noticed, Alezra doesn't like to throw away hands.
Talking to Howard, I think a run or twice button on the internet would be bad because those swings are just so big. The way these guys play, nothing slows them down. They just want to play as high as they can play, as fast as they can.
Ferguson watching on. Ivy trying to decide what to do. And Ivy raised 50,000 more. Alezra calls. Alezra actually didn't think he raised, turned over his hands. Ivy actually raised 50,000 more. Alezra quickly calls. And that is an absolute monster pot.
Nearly $250,000 in that pot. I think Ellie was a little bit confused, didn't see the two black chips.
Yeah,
With Phil putting his chips across the line, turned his hand over, but then said call as soon as he saw it was going to cost him an extra 50,000.
How do you guys get cards like this? I'm yet to make a pair.